Hey, and welcome to Adreno Tips. Today I've been asked to speak about sharks and some of my interactions with them over the years. So we'll go through, to start with, just what happened most recently on a particularly sharky day off the Sunshine Coast, and just run through a few different bits and pieces about that. So the first shark we saw for the day on our last dive was about a 2.5 to 3 metre hammerhead shark. It came in just curiously, just wanted to have a look at the flasher and us burleying up for the day. It was a very calm shark. Even though it was in a bit of an aggressive stance, it had its fins vertically down just for a bit more manoeuvrability. It didn't really seem interested in us at all, just swam around, ate the burley and just didn't really care. So once it had eaten enough burley, it swam away. And then what can we do for it? This is pretty normal behaviour for sharks when there's burley in the water. They're not particularly interested in the divers. They're just trying to get a feed. I'd do the same thing if I was a shark. Free food on offer, I'm going to eat it. The second shark for the day was a little bit later on the bottom. There was a really comfortable, calm nurse shark swimming around. So a nurse shark isn't a grey nurse shark. It's more of a bottom-dwelling species, similar to a gummy shark or a leopard shark. This shark was very calm. It was just swimming around, so I just held onto its tail for a bit and went for a ride. Nurse sharks are a calm, placid shark and just good fun to see. You don't see them very often. Third shark we saw for the day, unfortunately, was a tiger shark that was a little bit more aggressive. And unfortunately on the dive, I'd gone down to the bottom looking for fish. There wasn't much around. I turned around to come back up, and when I got about 5 metres from the surface, I felt a push on my gun and then felt a push on my fin. When I looked down again, the shark had actually pushed me about 4 metres through the water with its mouth open. Luckily, this particular tiger shark had closed its eyes for the bite, which most sharks will do to protect their eyes because their sight's very important to how they hunt. And when it closed its eyes, it didn't notice, and it's actually swum onto my spear, and my spear is lodged in its nostril. Because of this, the shark has decided to give up on its particular bite and has turned to swim away. So quite lucky in this instance. If the shark had come up on any other angle apart from where the gun was, there's a very good chance I would have been bitten. Unfortunately with tiger sharks and whites have the same kind of mentality. It's very simple. They're curious, they'll come in and have a look at you first. And this is from my own experience, I'm no scientist, but whites and tigers will usually come in and have a look. They're curious, they're trying to find out whether you are either food or a threat. If they decide you're not a threat, the automatic next assumption is food, and then they will come to check you out. Now, unfortunately, sharks, unlike us, don't have hands and fingers and they can't pick things up to manually process them. The best way for them to work out what kind of food you are is to bite you and see whether you're something that they've tasted before, something they know, or whether you're something they don't want to eat. Most sharks will just spit you back out or let go. Unfortunately, at that point, you've got some pretty serious lacerations and you may not survive if you're too far offshore. So most sharks aren't trying to attack you as such, they're just trying to find out what you are. Shark attacks that are actual attacks are not often recorded as real shark attacks, they're just people who are assumed drowned and missing. Because when a shark really wants to eat you, it will eat you. It's as simple as that. The tiger shark on this day was a bit of an unusual tiger shark. Usually tiger sharks will come in first and have a look and size you up. This is the first time I've ever had a tiger shark charge instantly. I'm not sure why, I'm still trying to work it out. Possibly the reflection of my fins or maybe the flopper. I don't know what brought this particular shark on, but it's unusual activity for a shark to behave that way. The next shark encounter for the day was in the afternoon on a spot closer in with a lot of bullsharks. So what we were doing in this situation is, because there were a lot of sharks around, we were diving in pairs. So one diver would go down first, then the other one would follow them down at a distance just to make sure nothing could get the drop on the other diver without them noticing, or if they did shoot a fish, so that you could quickly protect that fish and the diver from the sharks getting turned on, for lack of a better word, by the fish struggling. Off this spot we got a few fish using this technique because superiority in numbers, naturally. The sharks see two things that they perceive to be a possible threat, so they'll tend to stay back more than if they come in and there's 3 sharks and only 1 diver. The sharks are definitely going to get braver and come a lot closer to you. The reason sharks are so worried about us being a threat is because an injury for a shark is life or death. If you injure their eyes, any of their sensory organs, give them a decent injury of any shape or size, they can't hunt anymore. And if a shark can't hunt, it dies. It's as simple as that. So sharks are very, on the most part, apprehensive species. They're not going to want to engage something that they think could hurt them. So the best bet as a spear fisherman or anyone who spends a lot of the time in the water is have the sharks think that you're actually going to do them harm. You just got to have it in the back of the shark's mind. If it thinks you're a threat, it'll normally leave you alone. If it thinks you're an easy meal, unfortunately, it's going to try and have a go at you. So the reason the bull sharks weren't so aggressive on this day is bull sharks are kind of like a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde situation. Bull sharks in dirty water are very aggressive, very brazen. They will just harass you no matter what you do. They are very at home in dirty water and they like that kind of situation. Bull sharks in clean water, completely different fish. You can usually put a bull shark in clean water on the back foot as long as you have eye contact with that shark, and you can, as long as it can tell that you're watching it and that you're seeing what it's doing. In clean water, a bull shark will be a lot more apprehensive than it will in dirty water. Dirty water, you really don't want to be swimming around with too many bull sharks. Clean water, they're not so bad, and you can kind of take advantage of that in clean water because cobia usually like to hang out with schools of bull shark. So in a clean water situation, you have a good chance at actually landing one of those cobia. In a dirty water situation, you got a good chance of possibly being bitten. So you'll see in a lot of the footage with spear fishermen, particularly me in general, a lot of the time we'll go down and give the shark a very hard poke. This isn't to try and kill the shark or hurt the shark in any way. Most of the time the shark barely feels the poke just because they've got such thick skin. The poke is just to deter the shark. You really want that shark to think that you can hurt it. You'll never kill it. It is the apex predator in the water. Humans are prey. We're as simple as that. The only thing that makes us slightly different to prey is that we can cognitively reason and work out tools and features and safety things that we can do to make us harder to eat. So you really want to have the sharks thinking that you can hurt them. You can't. It's a bluff. But if that shark knows that you can't hurt it, that shark is going to eat you. It's as simple as that. They're not dwelling on a lot of the things and thought processes humans do. For a shark, you're either a threat or you're food, and it's as simple as that. One thing to be very mindful of, particularly when having encounters with sharks and spearfishing, is the calmer you are, normally the calmer the shark is. If you start acting erratic and getting scared and your heart rate goes through the roof, they're going to sense that. And if you're scared and sporadic and trying to run away and all that kind of stuff, you look a lot more like prey than you will if you're there calm, controlled, centered. Then it's just a better idea. It's no different to what they tell you with dogs when you're a small kid. If you turn and run away from a dog, it's going to chase you because it's instinct. If you try and turn and run from a shark, same thing, same instinct. They're just going to want to hunt you then. On the whole, sharks are not evil. They're not bad. They're not trying to be out there to hurt us. Sharks are in the ocean looking for food. They're not wanting to kill you most of the time. If a shark is harassing you more than anything else, they're after your fish. Thanks again for watching Adreno Tips. Hopefully I've informed you to my best ability. Sharks is a very contentious topic and everybody has their own opinions, but that's just my opinion. So hopefully you've got something out of it and hope you tune in next time and get something out of that. Talk to you then. Bye.